Hey, what's going on, guys? It's LuceyGoosey or Kyle, and welcome to my MLBA draft analysis for Season 4 of the MLBA. If you guys remember, we were in Season 3 of MLBA, and it was our first season in the league. We drafted Celesteela, and Nihilego, and Sylveon, and Drudagon, and Donphan, all this stuff, and we ended up doing really well. We actually started off the season pretty poorly. We were like 2-6 with 4 weeks left to go, but we ended up finishing 6-6. Made it to playoffs and won the championship with our team. Now, last season there was a lot of broken Pokemon, and our best Pokemon was Celesteela on the team. We went for a pretty budget draft, nothing too broken. This season there's a lot of broken Pokemon, and I picked 16th. I got to decide where I picked in the draft, and this was before I knew what Pokemon were going to be allowed, but I picked that I would pick 16th, which was the last pick, so I'd have the wheel pick at the end. And then I realized I probably should have picked first because a lot of broken Pokemon were allowed, and I could have had one of the best ones. But I didn't know what was going to be allowed. I thought most of that stuff was going to get banned, and then we voted on it, and a lot of stuff got allowed. So, anyways, it's a pretty similar draft to last season. Salary-based draft, we have 120 points to spend, and you can get 9 to 12 Pokemon. And then those prices of each Pokemon also are for Z users, except you only have 50 points to spend for Z users. Also, broken Pokemon, let's go over a few of them that I can remember off the top of my head. I know the most broken is Reshiram. Marshadow is allowed without Spectral Thief. Mega Metagross, Tapu Lele, Magearna, Naganadel, Aegislash, Darkrai, Genesect, a bunch of them. So many that were allowed, and I just wish I would have said, oh, I was going to pick number 1 overall, and just so I could have gotten one of them. However, picking 16th, I knew that it would allow me to get a really good team, and it would allow me to get things that synergize well with each other. So, moving on to my very first pick of the draft, I did get something broken. I got Naganadel, and I was super happy that this thing fell to me. 24 points, which is a hefty majority of my points. A lot of stuff to spend into one mon. I think the Celesteela was 18 last season, so that was the most I've spent on one mon. So a lot more to spend for this thing. We're going to be nicknaming it Ender. It's a really good Pokemon. Its stats aren't like super surprising, like its base stat total isn't crazy or anything. However, it is really good at what it does. It is really fast, and its special attack is really high. It gets access to Nasty Plot, which is really good. It also gets access to Tailwind if you want to run like a speedy set, or like a speed increasing set. I don't know if it gets like agility or anything like that. I'm not 100% sure. This was all off of memory for this page. But 73s for HP, defense, and special defense, which isn't terrible bulk. We can definitely live hits that aren't super effective, and if it's a weaker Pokemon going for super effective moves, we can live those too. Beast Boost, obviously the best ability out there. Well, not the best, but one of the better ones. We can Beast Boost our speed or special attack, which is really nice. And some really good coverage as well with Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Dark Pulse, and I believe there's a few others. But those are the main ones. So that is Naganadel, and we'll move on to our next pick. So I picked this one right afterwards, and I was looking at something that paired well with Naganadel. Naganadel is weak to a lot of things. Well, not a lot, but Dragon, Psychic, Ice, and I ended up picking up a pretty good defensive pair with it with Mega Scizor. We're going to be nicknaming it Heyyy because in Season 2 of PSBL, Heyyy was my partner, and our first overall pick was Mega Scizor. So we're going to be nicknaming it Heyyy. Really great stats, amazing. It can sweep teams with Bullet Punch, 150 attack, which is awesome. Really good bulk with the 140 defense and 100 special defense, and not even a bad speed tier. We outspeed a lot of, you know, your bulkier Pokemon, as well as there's a lot of like base 70s out there that we can outspeed, which is really cool. Also, we can put investment in the speed because we have the stats to back it up. Nothing crazy on the move pool. It does get some really nice things like knockoff. However, mainly just stab, but also setup options with like Swords Dance, and we also get Roost and Defog, which is really nice as well. We also have U-turn on this, which is cool because we can pivot out into our Naganadel, which is going to be like the main thing on our team. This team is completely built around Naganadel, so if I don't bring it to 1 week, that's going to be kind of scary, but we'll see. So my next pick, you guys see, I've got the Steel, I've got the Dragon. Next, you usually go for the Fairy, and Tapu Fini was on the board, and I was like, I could go for Tapu Fini right now. It was pretty expensive. I believe it was 17 or 18 points, and I can make up the rest of my draft because of that. And that's like, I was ready to go Tapu Fini. I was like, it's gonna be really good. But I was talking to a few people helping me out with the draft, Mike and Omega Tech. They were helping me out, and they're like, listen, Volcanion is a really good Mega Scizor partner. It helps Mega Scizor a lot, and you know, it's going to be a really good water switch or fire switch in and water switch in for you. You can switch into Scalds and everything like that. And I ended up going with it. I kind of want Vinny, but I've used Vinny before, and they were saying, you know, try something new. You might like it. So I went with Volcanion. It's not the greatest speed tier, only base 70. However, it's pretty bulky, and it can also deal out a ton of damage. It can be run special or physical. I've seen banded Volcanions put in work before. However, usually you run it with Sting Eruption, which is an amazing move. Has a really high chance to burn, which is really cool. Just overall a pretty good Pokemon. Assault Vest, Scarfed, X, no matter what, it's really good. It could be Z-move as well, which is pretty cool. But I don't believe I chose Volcanion as one of my Z-move users. But anyways, yeah, Volcanion, really cool. We're going to be nicknaming it Atlantis. I was going to name it Omega because it kind of looks like an Omega symbol, and Omega Tech told me to pick it. However, I figured Atlantis was a pretty good name for it. So that's what we went with. And at this point, a lot of our points have been spent. Almost half of our points have been spent on 3 Pokemon, which is really hard to cover up. But I tried to do my best with budgeting my mons from here on out. I didn't want to take anything that was over 10 points. However, I think my next pick was 11. So my next pick was, oh, actually Rotomo was my next pick. One of my picks was 11, but Rotomo was my next pick because it was paired with another one, so that's why. Rotomo is pretty good at what it does. I usually have a Rotom on my team. It just ends up happening that way. But yeah, Grass and Electric, Levitate, which is really nice because at this point, I don't really have great Earthquake switch-ins. Like, Mega Scizor doesn't want to take ground-type moves all day long. Like, it can take a few and roof stuff, but I want to make sure I have another reliable ground switch-in. But yeah, I love what Rotom can do. There's not really much to say about it. Everyone knows what Rotom does. It sits there, sets up screens and Will-O-Wisp. It can be Scarf Trick. It can be Specs, do a ton of damage. Overall, Rotom just is amazing at what it does, and I love having a Rotom on my team. Last season, I had Rotom Wash. I've had Rotom Heat 2 times before. I currently have it in the Ocean League, and yeah, I just really like Rotoms, all the forms. I don't even care if I had Rotom Fan, I would still use it, and I think I'd be pretty good with it. So, I love Rotom. This is going to be Buzzcut, cost 10 points, and now we move on to what costs 11, which was the only thing I was willing to go out of my budget with, and that was because it has a really nice ability, or 2 really nice abilities in Regenerator and Reckless, and that is Mienshao, nicknamed Shifu after Kung Fu Panda, and I just felt like I really needed ways to pressure a lot of different types, main ones being Dark types, and Steel types. I felt like I had some decent coverage for Steel types, however, it was mainly just in Volcanion, and I don't think I'll bring Volcanion every game, but yeah, I figured Mienshao is going to be really nice to pressure those Pokemon. Really nice speed tier it hits for me, because as of right now, my speed tiers are 121 and then below 90. So I needed something above 100, and I need something in the 90s as well to cover that part up. So I went with Mienshao. I think Mienshao is really good with the Scarf. It can be really good with a Band as well. Life Orb Mienshao is really nice, and it also has the ability to run special with that base 95 special attack and some Calm Mind. It can be really nice on the special side. However, it does get Swords Dance too to boost that physical attack, which is really cool. I do know that Banded Reckless High Jump Kick does a ton of work, and there aren't many switch-ins, so I might be playing around with Reckless a lot. However, I really like the Regenerator ability too, especially like a Scarf U-turn, get my health all back, and I think that could be really good. So anyways, yep, Mienshao, and now we move on to my next pick. So I was looking at my cores. I have sort of my Water, Fire, Grass core because I have Volcanion Rotom, but I still never got a Fairy, so that's what I went with next. I went with Gardevoir, and I really wanted to use Gardevoir in a league. I saw Jolt use it in the GBA, and I was like, wow, he's really good with this Pokemon. I want to use it. It was 10 points, and I have a few more picks left. You guys see I only went with 10 Pokemon instead of 12. I think I went 11 last season, but it ended up being 12 because I picked Bidoof. But yeah, we only went with 10 Pokemon this season, and I was like, well, 33 points, that's pretty good for 4 Pokemon left, and I was, at this point, actually planning on only getting 9, but a few things got sniped, and that's why I actually went with 4. But Gardevoir, really nice. We're going to be nicknaming it Morgana using the Shiny Gardevoir, which I don't think I mentioned that we weren't using Shiny as of the other ones, but I guess you can tell from the pictures. But yeah, really nice Spadef. It can switch in. It's a good Assault Vest user. Not a great speed tier, however, we were missing something in between Scizor and Rotom, so 80 is a really nice speed tier to hit as well. Trace is an amazing ability. We can trace Beast Boost, we can trace, adaptability, all this different stuff. Water Absorb, like, it's crazy how good Trace is, and then Synchronize if we want to run that for, like, status and everything like that. However, I think Gardevoir is really good. It can be a Scarf set with Healing Wish or Trick. I can also just do damage really well. Spec set as well. Assault Vest, like I said earlier, and Calm Mind, I think, is a really good, underrated Gardevoir set. So, yeah, we have a lot of special attackers on our team. We have a few physical with Scizor and Mienshao. However, I knew I needed a bit more physical attackers. But I also needed Rock. So you guys can see I have very little forms of getting up hazards. We have a lot of removal. We have Defog on 3 of our Pokemon, but I needed Rocks for sure. So I went with Miltank. It is a physical attacker. However, I don't think I'll be running it super offensively all the time. Like, I know that it can be run with like a Band and do really well, or like a Curse. Miltank, however, it's a Cleric and it is meant to take hits, especially from Ice types. That was another thing I was kind of worried about, Ice switch-ins, as well as Fire switch-ins. You guys can see my team's not really good against Fire types. Like, my only switch-in at this point is Volcanion, so with Thick Fat we can take those, as well as if I want to run like a Sap Sipper to take Grass type moves. However, yeah, this thing sets up Stealth Rocks. It can go for Milk Drink, Heal Bell to Cleric up the team, get some decent coverage with the Elemental Punches, gets Earthquake, which is pretty cool, and can also Thunder Wave things, which is really nice to cripple. But yeah, I figured overall Miltank was a really good Pokemon, especially at 7 points. And then next I went with something I seem to always pick up late in the draft, which is Alolan Persian. Last season I dropped Alolan Persian, however, I'm going to give it some redemption this season. I know how good it is. I've seen other people use it really well, and I just need to figure out that little bit that I've never seen before in Alolan Persian. I always end up getting outsped by Scarfers and getting taken down to really low health, and then I feel like it's not as good as it could be. But I want to use it correctly this season, so I'm planning on doing that. I'm going to do my best. Parting Shot is really nice to pivot out into my main offensive threats like Volcanion, Mienshao, and Naganadel. And I just overall feel like this is going to be a really good Pokemon. Also, Foul Play is really nice for things like setup mons with really high attack stats. So, yeah, I really like Alolan Persian, and I'm just hoping that I can use it well. I know its base stats aren't great, but Fur Coat makes it that I can take physical moves pretty decently. Claydol next, and we only have one more pick after this. But I picked Claydol because I needed a spinner. I have a lot of defoggers, and I figured a spinner would probably be good as well. So I went with Claydol. It does get rocks on its own too, which is really nice. So now I have 2 rockers on the team. Rapid Spin is great, like I said. And then some decent coverage with like Ice Beam. I thought it got Bolt Beam, but it actually only gets Ice Beam. It does get like Charge Beam, but I don't think that's really that good. But Calm Mind could be a pretty cool set. I've seen Scarf Claydols before. Obviously, speed tier is not great. I'm still hoping to get something over that 90 range, but I ended up never getting something there. But I get 100 with Miltank and 105 with Mienshao, so I felt like that was still pretty decent, and 115 on Persian. So I felt like my speed tiers were pretty good. I was just lacking one little spot, which was the 95, which I wasn't able to cover up, as you'll see with my last pick. However, Claydol's a really good screen setter as well, and it can trick things off. Really good bulk to switch in the fighting types, which my team was kind of struggling with. And lastly, I went with one of my favorite monsters in the Draft League format, Azumarill. I used Azumarill in PSBL Season 3. Was it Season 3? I think it was. And I ended up getting a lot of kills with it. Although I didn't make playoffs that season, I think I ended up getting like 18 kills with Azumarill in the 10 games I brought it to, or something along those lines. Really good with Belly Drum, really good with Band. Banded Azumarill can do a ton of damage. Also, I've used Thick Fat and Sap Sipper Azumarill before to switch into a multitude of things. Sap Sipper to switch into a Kartana and a Superior, and I used Thick Fat to switch into like a Mega Charizard X, I believe. So yeah, I really like defensive Azu, but offensive Azu is amazing as well. Being able to Belly Drum up and sweep teams late game is really cool, especially when everyone's going to be focused on my main threats like Naganadel and Mega Scizor. Azumarill is going to come in from the back and sweep a couple of games. I feel like we can get some kills with this thing, and I felt like it was a pretty good Pokemon to end off the draft with. I could have went 2 budget picks with this, but I figured 15 points, and I have not really too much physical offense on my team with just Mienshao and Scizor, so I went with this. It also gives me another form of priority, which for this it was only Fake Out, Bullet Punch, and now Aqua Jet. So that's really nice. But other than that, guys, that is going to do it. Oh wait, no, I have Z users. These are the Z users I picked. Naganadel, 24 points. Azumarill was 15 points, and then Persian, I believe, was 7 points. I could give Claydol the Z move as well, and I think I might have, because I had 4 extra points, but I'll never bring Z Claydol. At least I don't think I will. Maybe one day I'll bring it. I think I have it listed as on the dock as a Z user, but that was just because I had the points to give it to it. But yeah, we ended up going with these 3. Of course, Z Belly Drum being able to heal me up all the way. Also, just any type of offensive Z move with a zoom roll is pretty good. Like Z Draco Meteor on Naganadel is really awesome, and then Z Parting Shot for Alolan Persian I think could be really good because it heals up the Pokemon you switch out into. So I think that is it. I don't think I have another slide. Nope. So that is everything I've got for my draft analysis. Hopefully you guys are excited for MLBA. I believe I'll be uploading this league on Tuesdays. This video might go up on Wednesday. I'm recording this on Tuesday, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get it up on Tuesday. But yeah, I think we're supposed to upload on Tuesdays, and I will try to get week 1 out to you guys next week. So hopefully you guys did all enjoy this video. I'm out for now. Peace.